Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth Okonji again, Coach EO. Welcome to another episode of Thrive Not Survive, where we talk to real life professionals about challenges and successes that they've had, and they will share tips of how they've thrived rather than survived. Today, I have the delectable Yewande Olagbaju with me. Welcome, Yewande.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for having me here.
Nice. So Yewande is a friend. We knew each other virtually for quite some time, and then she took the bull by the horn and said, "Elizabeth, let's meet for was it lunch, breakfast, coffee?"
For coffee.
One time, yeah. And then we met and we hit it off. So she's someone that I admire for her work, and I'll let you introduce yourself.
My name is Yewande Olagbaju, and I'm the head of people and culture at Stears, a market intelligence startup. I partner with the business to get the right people and to keep the right people to drive our strategy, because we all know that culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Lunch and dinner.
And lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
And dessert. And,
And everything.
And anything in between.
Yeah. So Yewande is humble. I think somehow I'm with a few people in my life. You attract people that live in imposter syndrome. So Yewande is one of the people who their role is about figuring it out. So she's the chief figure it out officer at Stears for people. Yeah. So today we're talking about women in male dominated areas. You guys are a tech-driven data. What did you call
Market intelligence.
Market intelligence company. And I see some of all these reports you guys put out. It's really snazzy, really, out there. There's one that got viral recently, where you guys were talking about the graduates, first class people from what school? Where are they now?
Yeah.
I think one of your co-founders was.
Yeah, we have a number of people from Loyola.
Exactly. And it was really good. The way the data was presented and all of that. I'm like, so this is what this company does. How does she keep the people? Like the people who are in that space that are driving your company. I know your company is still trying to figure it out in the industry and even make people have value for what you guys can do with market intelligence.
Yeah.
You are a market intelligence officer yourself.
Pretty much. Actually, that sums it up. That's a really nice way to put it.
Thank you. I try my best. So now, Batsy, tell us, how do you survive? How do you cope?
It's easy to cope. And I will say that because I'm not alone. There was a point in my career when I did think I was alone. There was a time in my career where I did think that this HR work, no one will understand it. So that's, let me go back pre-Stears, because Stears is the first startup that I worked at, right? So there was just this thing around this HR work, it's only me that understands it. And I think it's also tied to what you're talking about around imposter syndrome, just even how do you reach out for help and then you seem like you're incompetent, things like kind of this. So
because you're
asking for help, right? So I will say that it became really easy. It's easy because of, number one, the place of where I work, right? I've been at Stears for 3 years and then some. Yep. It feels like it's been 1 month. But time flies when you're having fun and you're building and all of that stuff, right? So it's easy because of, number one, where I work, right? So I have supportive people that I work with, whether it's with the founders. The founders are very intentional about culture, and that makes my work easy, right? So I don't have to, my work of selling or negotiating, it's not so hard. Although if it was, that wouldn't be a problem. You still build, whether it's resilience, agility, negotiation skills, whatever it is, right? But that makes it easy, right? And then I also have support within, i.e., other peers that I connect with. But they're also not people and culture people. I'm going to go to how we met, right? This was actually last year.
Was it last year?
Was it last year? 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh, it feels. Let's just call it 2 years ago.
Okay,
let's at least that.
It feels like 2 years, but it was last year, and I was stalking. I was actually stalking because I'm like, I can't be the only one who's going through the things that I'm going through. And honestly, I don't just want to keep reacting. It's not helpful for me. It's not helpful for the business as well. So how do I network with other people? I was in some other groups, and I am in some other, HR / HR focused groups, like, HR tech and, and the likes. But it's different from one-on-one conversations and in interactions. And so I came across your profile, and let me go to my thought process of how I was stalking. So I was looking for, number one, future me.
Interesting.
I was looking for future me. What roles do I want to be in the future? And that trajectory. Because at that time, I was a people and culture lead. I'm a head of people and culture now. So I was looking at, chief people and culture officers, which, excuse me, you've been like quite a number of times in different contexts. I was looking for people who had thought leadership. I was looking for people who, even though you haven't met them, they could be collaborative and not feel like, oh, you're trying to, this is my area, there's only one star here to shine, so that's how I basically came across your profile. And I reached out to you. I said, yo, I don't know what I'm doing here. It's quite difficult, I'm new in this space, right? I have HR experience over 7 years in, these different industries, but it's a different ball game, when it comes to the startup space. And I reached out to you, and you're like, okay, let's have a quick call.
Yeah.
And we did have a quick call, and how many, well,
Text.
many months text, coffee dates later, we're here.
Yeah.
So it makes, I know it's a long way, but I'm just saying, like, this is how I'm able to cope, because I'm not alone.
I like what you said about your internal support system in your leaders, which is actually really good, because most people, especially in the head of HR space, don't always get along with the founders or co-founders, their bosses. And I think it's not necessary, because if you have selected your head of people, you probably did that looking for the person that would align with the ability to support your vision. Personalities might differ, but if you have that right leader and you consider yourself not collaborators, but I call it co-conspirators, you would celebrate your differences, like not break because of differences. You won't take your disagreements personally, and you will sort of build together. Everybody's on the ball. We are pushing for this vision. So I think that's the dynamic you guys have, which is why you can call them. And I'm also drawing from conversations you and I've had about when you hit a roadblock and you're trying to demystify stuff, and they give you the space to do it, and they nudge you in different areas, and they allow you figure it out, pivot if you need to pivot without blaming, which is one of the things. So kudos to your bosses.
I give them like top praise.
And then there's your peer support group internally, and then you reaching out to people in the industry that would I don't know that I had enough of that support, which is why anybody just needs to ask. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. Because when I was growing up, I didn't have my 5th, 7th year between my first two. I had just not up to a handful of older, more experienced people leadership support. And I sort of attribute it to the fact that the way I think about people management, the HR space, I don't like calling it HR, but let's just stick. The way I think about it is different. Some people would say it's ahead of its time, is, all of that. And some of the things that I would have been clamoring for years later, we find that it then becomes a trend. Everybody needs to be shifting. And I'm like, but I've been saying this in my small corner of the world. Yeah. So that's why, and I'm happy we met. Yeah. Because I'm enjoying the relationship. And this is for anybody who's listening. When you reach out to someone to be your mentor, it has to be a mutually beneficial relationship. Yewande and I don't have, I don't even remember. When you said 7 years and I'm like, oh, really? I don't remember. Yeah. We have conversations and I ask questions and I'm trying to hire this, and she's helping and she's doing all of that. So we're benefiting from the partnership. So I can call her my friend. Yeah. So that's one. So I'm coming to the next question. There are misconceptions that people carry around about how women have to get up the ladder. Tell us some. I'm not going to tell, which ones have you heard? Yeah. Which ones have you heard? How do women navigate the corporate ladder? What are the things that you need to do? Did you experience any? How did you challenge those norms?
So I would say that what my experience is hearing experience, right? And particularly let's get Stears, because it's a really inclusive environment. We talk about just what that environment looks like, right? So I'm allowed to be myself. If you look at our leadership bench, they're women and men, actually I think right split in the middle, so equal numbers. So there's diversity and inclusion there. But what I have heard is, you do what you have to do by any means necessary, and they don't even put sometimes the legal there. So that means if you have to do something illegal, do it. Or I think there's the misconception that women are really emotional, and so don't make strategic decisions, right? Particularly in the people and culture /HR space. It's have you eaten today? That's the work of people and culture. Have you eaten today? You've eaten? Oh, okay. That's fine. I'm happy now. My job is done. But it's nothing like that. That's a huge misconception about women in the space, particularly within people and culture. Yep. And I think another is, just women are not as bold and confident. So you would see that this person is a man, I'm a woman, the exact same role, same salary band, and somehow the man is able to negotiate 3x what is in the salary band, but I'm okay with 0.8 of that salary band because imposter syndrome, or just not belief in yourself. Belief in yourself on your competencies, right? So that's what I have. Those are things that I'm going to say that I've heard that I know exist and are true. You then asked how I challenge. Okay, so the first is confidence is something that takes time to build. It's not for some people, it's a year's journey. For some people, it'll take 10 years. Yes, some people it's a lifetime. Some people you just have to come up with coping mechanisms to present as confident and then go back into your shell and then oh my gosh, okay, now I can get my energy back, So, so what I've done is, I'm on a journey of building my confidence. And I think that how I do that is I definitely take on more like high impact projects. I don't run from, I think we're speaking about this earlier. I learn life lessons in the gym. I don't run from resistance. So I look forward to resistance. I look for opportunities that are challenging, and I take on those things, even if I don't know what those things are. I'll give an example. So I've had to work on like ESOPs. I've never had to do that before. And that's something that's like really like, it's heavy on the legal side, right?
So ESOP is employee share.
Yes, option
program. ESOP. ESOP.
Yeah, ESOPs. Yeah, I should have been specific. But yeah, that's something that going into it, I was like, oh my goodness, like what on earth am I doing? But yeah, I didn't just survive, I thrived with that, right? Because again, just taking on that opportunity, learning along the way, talking to people, and the support system that I have as well. All these play a part. So there's that. Something that I do every month is I have to remind myself, it's in my calendar every month, at the end of every month, document your contributions. So what did you do well this month? Okay. What were your achievements this month? So that when you talk to yourself, I talk to myself that, hey, you did this, you know your stuff. You kind of know your onions. You're not smith, after all, So documenting your contributions helps in terms of like building your confidence. I think the second one is be authentic. Be who you are. There's a reason why, except you were pretending in the interview process, but there's a reason why the people that hired you. And there's a reason why people that didn't hire you. That's also okay. So how about you be that person? Now, there are some women, I wouldn't even want to say women, men who are naturally confident. Be that confident person, right? But if your strength is collaboration, be the collaborative leader. If your strength is empathy, use that empathy, right? So be true to yourself. Now, this doesn't mean that there isn't still that space to be an empathetic leader who is still confident,
yes.
But there's a way, right? You don't have to be in the room and then be aggressive and stand like a man and, be
because they're trying to
overly authoritative. Yes, you don't have to do that, right? Because for how long are you going to do that? You find that you're exhausted. Personally, I've tried it. It's really exhausting. It takes a lot from me being someone that I'm not.
I'm listening to you and I'm just like, I'm blown away. There's so much heart coming from how you talk, how you are relating these things. And I'm actually being impacted by this. Let me tell you something you said just now that is profound. I want to repeat it for you say you document your successes. You just document what have I done so that you talk to yourself. And you're talking to yourself using those positive stories. One of the things that propagates the imposter syndrome is what we tell ourselves.
Yes.
So we are the negative voice to ourselves, and we don't even need any help from outside. I deal with that. I've struggled with that for I'm one of those people who have to, like, I have developed areas I'm confident in. But it didn't come. I had to develop it, like build it. And there's some faking it till you make it that I've had to do in some areas. And then there's some, I've naturally changed what I tell myself in those areas. Because if you speak negatively to yourself as a person, even when people tell you've done great,
come on,
you drown out those voices. And you listen to it. You're like, no, I don't think so. And it's real to you. You think maybe they're just trying to get you to be happy. But when you sit down and take an objective look at what you've done and you write it down, because when that voice is coming, you have something to go and remind yourself.
Documented, I did this in this month. And imagine if you did that every month, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, you're like,
yeah. I really like this. Like, there are a few people that I think this will help. And I think it will help me because somehow mentally I know this, like write so that you can drown it. I can explain it. I can tell it to other people.
Yeah.
But actually doing it is something else. Like, look at the things. How much have you achieved? And it's not about bragging or being bold. It's just being pragmatic.
Yeah.
Taking a very clear look at it. Thank you. So you're dropping gems. Thank you for this. I'm curious again. We've talked about your support system and how you've identified and built them. When you're looking, and you've talked about qualities you're looking for, so I don't want you to talk about me again. But when women are growing, and I'm talking about women intentionally, because there's this narrative in business that maybe because of the policies, different things, practices, and how work is structured, the seat at the table, doesn't have enough room for us. But I'm like, get creative, build a table.
Yeah.
Invite who you can.
Yeah.
Sit alone at that table first. Yeah. But make room for other people who are scrambling for a place at the table that doesn't really fit them, doesn't have a stool for them or something, a chair. And then invite them.
Yeah.
I don't know that women, we have enough practice doing this. I don't know that we have enough practice. I'm not saying we intentionally don't do it. I don't know. The narrative for some people, their experiences would be, it was a lady who was my worst nightmare. There are stories I've seen, I've had, but I choose to see it different. Like, I think it's because we don't have enough practice.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm trying to do with my life with this platform is to change the narrative and introduce a different practice. Give people the opportunity to practice more differently. So, what can you say as, like, what can people do? What can women do? What are you doing? Like, what have you done? I'm very aware that this is not a hard question for you because I know things you're doing, which is why I can ask you. Yeah. But what are the things that you're doing so that people can learn and we get the practice in to create tables that fit us in terms of policies, just things? A woman's entire life changes with something as simple as childbearing. And she needs to find who she is again. Her body needs to recover. That's just one thing.
Yeah.
But there are many things that happen. There's the premenopause, there's menopause. Yeah. We don't have enough information about that.
Yeah.
In fact, I started having a hot flash and had no clue what was happening to me. Am I sick? You know?
Yeah.
And if not that I was with an endocrinologist who's a woman who was like, maybe you are in perimenopause. I'm like, what? I'm still young. Don't remind me. He's like, for some people it comes early. Maybe how early did you start in your period? And I started really early. Like I was in primary school.
Yeah.
So tell us, what do you do? What should we do?
Yeah. So I would say that with great power comes great responsibility. I think that's from Spider-Man. But yeah, don't waste it. Don't waste it. You owe it to... I think first of all, you owe it to yourself as a woman.
Right.
And then you owe it to other
of your kind.
Other of your kind. Of your species.
Yeah. And to everybody, really.
And to everyone. I was going to segue too. But yeah, and for like men as well, because men matter. We all matter.
Of course.
Right? So I would say we hold... And I'm speaking, as I say this, I'm speaking to leaders, whether it's people and culture, whether it's management, founders, whatever it is, right? We hold the position of shaping culture.
Yes.
And so what should that look like, even in like policies? So I'm going to speak practically in terms of what it looks like.
Yes.
For me and for like us at Stears. So we have sick leave days. They're unlimited, right?
They don't impact on your annual leave days?
No.
unlimited sick days that don't impact on you.
Yeah. So so let me break down the leave
Thank
days.
you.
There's the annual leave days. It's 25 days. If you don't use all of them, you can carry up to 10 in the next year. So a lot of people are just rolling with 35 leave days, just chilling.
Do they use it eventually?
Eventually they use it.
Okay.
Some people use it in some specific years. I mean, I haven't been there, like, so, but some other years it's like this year where the economy is quite tight, people are not really traveling like that. So they're using their leave days just to like, okay, I just want to breathe at home, chill. So there's that. There's compassionate leave. When we started compassionate leave, it was for, an employee loses a family member or a close friend, or you want to attend the burial of a close friend. Maybe you are not that close, so the compassionate leave was there. But then we also as we lived life happens. So we have this class called unfortunate life events. Unfortunate life events is I just parked my car down the road and they jacked my mirror. I'm destabilized. I can't work, or I went to sleep. Someone came to jack me and kidnapped me or something and took all my belongings. I'm destabilized. I need compassionate leave.
Or my house got flooded.
Or small power surge. Poof. Fire. Life is happening in different ways, especially on this side of the continent. So there's compassionate leave for death, for loss of life. Then there's unfortunate life events.
Loss of mental stability.
Loss of something that affects your.
That's really good.
So there's that. And then there's parental leave. Okay. And then we have official days away. So if you have to go for a conference, just log official day away, just so that people know that you're working, but you're not in the office and you can't be reached. Right? So we see that on like our system.
Okay.
And then we have the sick leave.
Okay.
We have the sick leave.
Okay.
That's unlimited.
Okay.
And that's used for a number of things. Okay. It's used for I want to go and do a checkup. Okay. Because I need to take care of my body, as you should. Okay. It's used for I want to go for my prenatal check. Okay. It's used for my wife is pregnant. Okay. I want to follow her to her prenatal check. Okay. It's used for It's used for a number of things, right? So it's used for even mental health. Mental health day, right? You just need a mental day, right? So we have that. So in our parental leave, both for like mothers and fathers, the maternal is 3 months paid and 3 months part-time, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay. But you can adjust the hours if you want. But we will just advise that try and stay for some meetings so that re-onboarding isn't as hard when you come back. And if you need to extend that, let us know.
Okay. So 6 months. Yeah. And then half of that
6 months, and then you come back to working however that was. For fathers, it's 1 month.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Full.
1 month fully paid off, and 1 month part-time.
See, this is I don't even know where to start.
Because fathers need to be there.
Thank you.
Fathers
the mothers need the fathers to have time to be there.
Exactly.
I remember when I was having my kids, my husband would come in and then he's running back. He had a number of leave days, but nothing as nice and fancy as this one. Yeah. And when it's time for him to go back home, I'm like, I wish he could stay, because he takes a load off. Yeah. He's a person that can leave like it's our child. I know you know. Yeah. And he would be like, sleep, don't worry. Yeah. I will feed
got you. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was so helpful. Even if I'm just awake and he's bonding and I'm just watching and enjoying it, and I have videos from there and everything. So it's really important. Yeah. So what you're talking about is there are things that support women, and there are things that support the people that support women that you can put as policies in your businesses. And we can all affect or effect change in our small what you can do. Well done with this. The thing that's most progressive about the sick leave is that you can use it for anything. You don't have to call in sick or call in dead to have a sick day. So my tummy has been running, or I need to go to, your people need to go to the hospital to get a sick note. They don't need to, because they're using it for different things.
Yeah, except it's for like extended periods where like, so like if it's 3 days, like 3 days plus or something,
and you have to be away,
then okay, let's see something. But if it's just like 1 day or even like a half day, because we do that as well, or I have a migraine, or I just need to start the day a little bit late. I was up late last night, whether it's like working or, there are those little things that allow for flexibility. And then there's something else that we have. So we have a couple of parents in our company. And so within their schedule, put blocks of time where meetings cannot be booked. And those times are, I've gone to pick up my child from school.
I am guilty.
Yeah. So that's something that's there. And this is like apart from your lunch. So you still have your lunch hour. So, but your block of time, don't book any meetings. If you try it, it's going to automatically decline. I'm going to pick up my children from school.
So they're allowed. I really love this because I have over the last 5 years, I could, because I was whatever. And I could allow my team members to do it. But getting other leaders to think it's okay to allow your people, there's some duty of care that they have to their life. I don't believe in work-life balance. I don't think it can balance. I don't know why we're trying to look for balance. I just know that you have to have the confidence to prioritize what's necessary. So that's it. So integrate your work and life. Prioritize responsibly.
That's the word. Integration.
That's it.
Integration. Because we spend how many hours working every day? And then how many days a week?
Exactly.
And then how many days in a year?
So in my mind, I'm just, don't give people a dot. Don't force them to have to look for balance or feel like something's off when they can't achieve that balance. It's prioritization. Maybe now your work needs to take priority because there's something you're gunning for, there's something your team is working for. Or your life has to take priority at this moment because your kids, you have a special needs child.
Exactly.
Your health is doing something. Whatever. Or a family member, a close family member is I have the time to pick up my kids in my calendar. Everybody, I've had it for a long time. When I used to be the one to drop them off, well, sometimes I still have that, but I tell my team when I'm not using it. They ask, in fact, are you using your... I have a name for it, OTR. It's on the road. Are you using your OTR for Thursday? We want to see if we'll have a meeting. I'm like, I'm not using it. Or I'm using it. Don't touch it. I want to sleep. Even if I'm not using it, I want to sleep. Anyway, but that's so good that it's part of your company policy. And you're giving people dignity because
to be humans.
Thank you. It's just... be a human, have dignity because you're working here. I really like it. Well done. Kudos
to our founders and to our management team that make it happen.
Enabling it.
Absolutely.
Nice one. You've had times, because you were saying something about before you came into the startup world. Thank you. Tell us a bit about that. How did you bounce back? There's a thing called resilience, when you got into a new industry that seemed like you needed to fish. There must have been periods where you felt you were out of water. But growing in your career, I don't think it was all nice and high all the time. Do you have what are the things that you think helped you not just survive? Because remember, we're in a thrive, not survive. What are the things that you did or that helped you? We've established your support system. But when it felt like you were at your lowest ebb or something confusing, you were down, what helped you get back up and soar?
I'm going to call that one thing again, support system. And support doesn't always look like, hey, you've got this. Sometimes support looks like, you can do it. Just challenge yourself to think. Challenge yourself to think a bit more. And I learned or started learning how to be resilient at so I was at Sahara for a bit. And I know we talked about, women not supporting women. I'm sorry, I don't have that experience.
Awesome.
I don't have that experience. I don't have the experience. My boss then, her name is Chidilim. And shout out to Chidilim if you ever see this. And shout out to
all the women that have gone through Yewande's career. Well done. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, particularly to Chidilim because, we worked through like special projects together. We worked through this male-dominated industry together. And she challenged me in so many ways in terms of just like growing and thinking, But yeah, the support is definitely the one thing for me because a problem shared is already like half solved, right? So, yeah.
Thank you, Yewande, for being here. Thank you for sitting, giving me some of your calm energy. I will use it for the rest of today.
Until tomorrow comes.
Till tomorrow, right? And then I do my own reset process because I have my own routine as well. It involves coffee. Okay, so before we go, do you have anything you want to share to the young professional who is thinking of ways to not just survive, but to thrive?
Yeah. I mean, first thing I will say is that you are not alone. Don't feel like you're alone. And so just hang in there, first of all. Just understand that you're not alone, first of all. Second is, as soon as you can and as early as you can in your career, invest in a mentor. It is the most important. I mean, I think it's one of the most important decisions you will make in your professional life. Invest in a mentor, right? That can help you thrive because a mentor has seen things that you have not seen, right? A mentor has been where you've been. There's an adage in Yoruba that basically says, respect your elders because they are rags that they are wearing. You can't buy it because that's experience, that's wisdom. So invest in a mentor. I know it can seem daunting. If you leave me, I'll just be by myself. But like I mentioned earlier, my professional health was on the line. I was tired of drowning and I went stalking. And I found me some Elizabeth. And I mean, come on, so invest in a mentor. And when you do, be honest. And like Elizabeth mentioned, it's not just, I'm taking and I'm learning and I'm growing. How do you give back? It's a give and take relationship. It's a give and take relationship that can actually transcend from mentorship to lifelong friendship. Yeah. So invest in a mentor, but I think start there and you'll be good. Third is stay learning, always be learning, right? Always be learning about what's going on in your space. Always be learning, attend industry events, whatever it is, right? So just stay learning from your peers, stay learning from your industry. And yeah, I think that's that. And the final thing is be gracious to yourself on this journey. Be very kind to yourself.
This one.
Take care of yourself because you matter, right? You can't give what you don't have. So please be kind to yourself. Be gracious to yourself. You will make mistakes. More experienced people make mistakes as well. But it's how they bounce back. So don't stay there from your mistakes. What did you learn and what will you do better next time if the opportunity were, if the same challenge were to present itself? So you'll be more than fine. But yeah, take care of yourself.
I really love this. Thank you. Thank you so much, Yewande.
Thank you.
The thing about be gracious to yourself, it's also encased in what you said about telling yourself the right stories, writing down the things that you've done so you can remember. Because your negative voice will drown it out.
Every
without
single thing
asking.
will just be like that one thing that you did that wasn't wrong.
Yeah,
that was wrong.
That was wrong. We'll drown out
every single thing.
everything.
The 5 other things you did that were great, that were awesome. So
Awesome. So stay learning, invest in a mentor, make it give and take. Always be learning. Look at life like a school. Learn from everything. Learn from people. Learn from situations. Be gracious to yourself.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So right before we go, we just saw the second Yewande
My
walk
namesake.
in. Yes, your namesake. She's walked in, and I would like her to just join. I would think of a very hard question to ask you guys.
Okay.
But I would like to have her sit here for a short while.
Okay.
So guys, hold on. Give us time. We'll put a seat here, and we'll be back with 2 Yewandes with 1 Elizabeth on Thrive, Not Survive.